So we got the recording in progress. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yes, and hello and good morning to everybody, supporters of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that has taken place from this past weekend and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, on Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, YouTube as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Apple Podcasts as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, or various platforms where you can find your podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price and Jamar Goodman, as well as this morning, Mr. Ian Jones, because he's tagged. And so today is January 15th, 2022. We have yet again seen another interesting week in the sports world, where we saw the Georgia Bulldogs take care of the Alabama Crimson Tide in a physical yet injury-riddled national championship game. NFL firings taking place all over the place this week, including a number of firings that were very questionable. The Indianapolis Colts and a few others caused Week 18 drama down to the final 2 seconds of the regular season, while others such as the San Francisco 49ers and Pittsburgh Steelers cash in on their golden opportunities to make the playoffs. The Brooklyn Nets in their victory sent a serious message to our Chicago Bulls, as well as the Golden State Warriors last night. It was embarrassing to watch, y'all. Possibly reminding the Bulls that if you come see us April and May, you better truly step your game up. And so with that being said, introducing my brother from another mother, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about them Georgia Bulldogs?
Yeah, how about them, man? They took care of business. I give you your props, man. I give you that. Yes. And introducing our guest for this morning, Mr. Ian Jones. Thank you.
Hey, how
again
y'all
for
doing
joining
this
us,
morning?
my brother. Thank you for chopping it up with us.
Yes,
What's good
sir.
with you?
Always
Bro?
a pleasure.
Good, man. Good. And so with that being said, thanks again, Ian, for joining us. Let's get to it, bro, on our first and foremost. And so let's begin with you, Ian, since you're our guest. The NFL firings. So we've seen a number of firings this week that's taking place. We knew what was happening with Matt Nagy. So Matt Nagy was let go. Joe Judge of the New York Giants, we kind of could have put 2 and 2 together, right, Jamar? And after watching the Bears and how the Giants did, after a sneak on 3rd and 9, a quarterback sneak, and just the media and the overall performance that he had, he was let go. A few questionable ones. David Culley, really sad situation for him. As well as Brian Flores down in Miami. We got a few openers that might be available after the season. Mr. Two Finger, Jacksonville, that's an open job now. Got an open job possibly in Las Vegas. Who knows if they'll keep their coach. And then there was another firing I can't think of. Oh yeah, Mike Zimmer of the Minnesota Vikings. And so just curious, Ian, out of these firings, what stands out most to you there, right? Any surprises for you? And what was your reaction like upon receiving, as example, the news of something that might have been surprising for you?
Really, none of them was really surprising. I mean, we've seen coaches, especially African-American coaches, get fired after, 10-6 seasons or playoff seasons. So
that's a good point, Andy Jamar. Like you wasn't surprised. Wow.
Yeah, I really wasn't surprised. I know everybody was surprised about the Brian Flores firing, but I mean, we seen Lovie Smith go 10-6 and get fired. So, I mean, it's a different ball game from white head coaches and African American head coaches. I don't think the Culley firing, I don't think that was fair.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that situation was weird. Jamar, bro, like, what was your reaction?
So, since you mentioned Culley, that one, initially I was about to be surprised, and I realized it's the Houston Texans. Nothing surprises me about the Houston Texans. So the one, by default for me that was surprising was Brian Flores, just more so because, like, yeah, I did see that meme or that stat as far as African American coaches, and we all know, how, uh, us as a standard compared to others is different, but nevertheless, like, they won 7 straight. I would imagine that, how he even like how bad of a team or record they had and how he turned it around in season to where they actually had a chance. They actually had a legitimate chance of making the playoffs until they ran into Tennessee in that last meaningful game for them in week 17. But the fact that, I guess more so now, with the aftermath of you hearing things between him and Tua, didn't get along, and they basically fired him because I guess they didn't like the way he was talking to his quarterback per se. Just basically saying like, yo, from what I'm hearing, like he told Tua, like, you don't have any velocity on your ball. And, they got a little sensitive about that. I've heard he said he rather wish they drafted Mac Jones instead of having Tua as their quarterback. I don't know. It's just a lot of things that's going on there. I don't know if it was just more so, trying to give him a bad name or whatnot. But what I do know is Brian Flores is a really good coach for what he was able to do after the Adam Gase era in Miami, and to have them, top tier. The defense is really well. Offense have weapons, and the fact that he was able to get wins out of Tua, which, a lot of us between fans and the media is like, don't know if Tua is the guy for that team, because they basically a turnkey franchise right now. Basically, you insert a elite quarterback, and that team is a Super Bowl contender without a doubt. So basically, the fact that he was able to, get the best out of Tua, and how that team like still fought for him, even though they was down, what their record was 1-7 and 7 straight. Like that says everything to me. The fact that he's available right now, like that's, I don't know, speaks volumes to me, and I'm glad we interviewed him yesterday. So.
Right. Yeah, man. My question is, and you basically have stated everything I feel, Jamar. I only thing you didn't bring up is because I was gonna bring up the race thing. I was gonna bring up the fact that I felt Miami was more comfortable with having a Caucasian face behind their franchise, at least on the head coaching side. 1-7, like you mentioned. And as you know, Jamar, and we cover this stuff, like this is a big part of our lives. The Miami Dolphins, a lot of people, and I'm surprised y'all, they don't mention this. We remember earlier in the season, Jamar, Tua was hurt for a number of games.
Correct.
Jacoby Brissett was the starting quarterback. And Ian, me and you can put together, Jacoby Brissett is not the greatest of quarterbacks. Okay?
Yeah.
And so also keep in mind, Jamar, that a lot of the games that they lost were by 3 points. They were by late game field goal losses, okay? So they were 1-7 through all that, right? Then go ahead and go 8-7. Go down to Tennessee, yes, you get smashed by Tennessee, which it was a close game into the fourth quarter. And then you go ahead and you beat New England. As we know, y'all, beating Bill Belichick is pretty hard. And beating him and owning him at 4-2, a lot of people can't say that they did that. I'm pretty sure, y'all, there's been plenty of coaches that has had issues with quarterbacks, but for them to get fired when you literally have a team on the cusp of being a serious Super Bowl contender, even with Tua. Now imagine if you had Deshaun Watson with that team. And so my next question is, y'all, we see what happened with David Culley. It appears that maybe he was a scapegoat, Jamar, like they kind of had him in there kind of knowing that he wasn't going to be the guy long term. And that, for me, I felt like it was really unfair to David Culley. But, and I don't know if you know, Ian, yesterday they stated that Flores didn't interview for that Texans job. So could it be that Brian Flores and Deshaun Watson may be trying to reunite in Houston? What y'all think?
I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't think Deshaun Watson coming back, though. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. So it's like, then if that's the case, then Jamal, what the hell was the point of firing David Culley? Like, I don't know. I mean,
it goes back to my original statement. It's the Texans. The Texans have made dumb moves for I don't know how long, and it's like I'm not surprised. It's like they just continue to shoot their own selves in the foot, or continue to embarrass themselves, or just continue to just not care. So
Right.
I like whatever they do is just like I'm just got the yawn emoji until y'all actually do something that's worth doing. So
that's bad, man. And on the other hand, with the Miami Dolphins, like, do you guys think that they are taking a step in the right? I mean, I guess the question remains to be told. It depends on who they hire, right? Things of that nature. But imagine this, y'all, next year. We could be looking at the Dolphins, y'all. And what if they 7-9 or 6-10? What will you say then? Like, I'm just saying, like, what will you say then? Like, you were on the crux of being a very serious playoff threat, and then you take a seat back. I don't get it. I thought the goal, right, Ian and Jamar, is to win football games. I thought that was always the goal. When it comes to Aaron Rodgers and certain people, it's win football games. But when it comes to Brian Flores, it's not about winning football.
I mean, honestly, like, who do you bring in right now that's better than Brian Flores that's available right now? Like, who?
I don't know, man. Maybe one of them Caucasian offensive coordinators that is creative with play calling. Like all they got to do is get 3 touchdowns, Jamar, and then they have them on the sideline looking like geniuses. Hence, example, the former NFL quarterback, now offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Like all they got to do is throw 3 touchdowns, and boom, they're going to be off a head coach someday in the NFL. And before you know it, you got all this stuff going on. And so it is sad, but it's a very, very, very true reality. But don't want to spend too much time on it, bro. We got other stuff to cover this morning. And so let's go ahead. Let's keep it moving. Let's go ahead and let's get into the NFL playoffs, fellas. So we got the playoffs approaching, right? We got games going on today, beginning with the Raiders and the Bengals. And tonight, New England and Buffalo, and a very, very single-digit cold fest that'll take place in Buffalo. I just want to know, fellas, we got a number of games that's going on this weekend. And so if I'm a higher seed this weekend, y'all, if I'm a team that, got somebody coming into my building, give me out of these games, y'all, which teams would you want to avoid come this weekend? And so what I'm going to do is, to help y'all out, I'm going to share the screen. And therefore, y'all could be able to look at the schedule. And so the Raiders at the Bengals, Patriots at the Bills, Eagles at the Bucks, Niners at the Cowboys, Steelers at the Chiefs, Cardinals at the Rams. And so, Jamal, let's start with you, bro. Who you want to avoid? Like, if I'm just saying, like, if which team higher seed is in danger this weekend?
I would say,
I know where you're going with your first one. You mentioned them last weekend.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did. And that would probably be the 49ers. I mean, and the Cowboys. Cowboys don't want to play the 49ers right now. And that's because, so for a number of reasons. One, Cowboys haven't really played anybody this year. Well, more so, they haven't really beat anybody this year that's worth playing. Second, I don't think the Cowboys have seen a combination of George Kittle and a Deebo Samuel at all this year. So that they gonna create problems.
But what about a combination of Jimmy G?
They haven't seen Elijah Mitchell this year. Brandon Ayuk is actually, kind of special at times. And I guess, let me mention Jimmy G. So how I look at it, and I was telling my coworker yesterday, so there's good Jimmy, there's bad Jimmy. And there's also on the flip side, there's good Cowboys, there's bad Cowboys. When the Cowboys play up to their climax, their apex, their top notch, they probably got the highest ceiling at all the teams in the playoffs by far. The problem is we don't ever see it.
Right.
But what we do see is a consistent 49ers team that sticks to their DNA, which is running the ball, control the ball, do not turn over the ball, limit possessions of the other team, and basically, have them playing from behind. That's their DNA. And 49ers are healthy. 49ers have, been looking good in the last about 7 weeks here. And I'm just concerned that Dallas offense is not consistent enough. They have all these
concerned about
weapons.
the Cowboys offense.
Correct. I mean, of course, they put up 51 against the Eagles, who really had nothing to play for and sat a lot of their players. Fine. I mean, they beat up on the NFC East in general. Fine. So I'm not those wins against that whole division. It's whatever. Like I said, they haven't really played anybody that they won that's worth mentioning this year. So
beating Joe Judge twice, in other words, it's not really the biggest.
I mean, the man did a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 9. So what do you expect?
That and when I heard that, bro, I'm like, what? And so yeah, man. 49ers at Cowboys. Okay. You got another one? Is that it or?
I got one more and I'll make it brief. Tonight's game, New England, Buffalo.
Yeah.
I know rookie quarterbacks in playoffs normally don't do too well. I get that, but it's more so Bill Belichick knowing his opponent who they division game in Buffalo. I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick is going to have his A+ schemes ready. It's just more so, can Josh Allen be the Josh Allen that we know that earned that contract extension, that has, done magnificent things, instead of the guy that I'm sitting here head scratching, throwing 3 picks against the Falcons, losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. And that basically that's all I need to know. Who's actually going to show up? Because I know Bill Belichick and his scheme and that defense going to show up. More so, can Josh Allen show up? That's the key.
Another thing with the Bills, good Buffalo Bills, bad Buffalo Bills.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Ian, who you got, bro? You got any teams that can pull off something special this weekend?
Just to back off what Jamar said, he basically took the 2 teams. I wouldn't want to see the 49ers. That run game, that offensive line, and how they can control a game. And like you said, I don't think the Cowboys have played nobody who played an offensive line of that caliber. I know Zeke, he ain't healthy. So their run game has been kind of wishy-washy. I mean, like you said, they put up 51 points, but it was against second and third teamers. So it's so I don't know. And like you said, the Patriots, you got Bill Belichick, the defense is gonna show up. It's cold, it's a division opponent they familiar with. So I don't know. Them 2 teams I really wouldn't want to play. Especially the 49ers. I wouldn't want to play. It seems like they're kind of peaking right now. It's just basically it's really up to Jimmy G, in my opinion, how far they go.
Yeah. I've told the world, including Jamar Goodman and Jay Hughes, that Jimmy G is a pretty good quarterback. And here they are. And now we got Jamar Goodman, of all teams, everybody, shouting out Jimmy G's team. Voila. All right. On the other hand, I agree with y'all, man. If I'm the Cowboys, I want to avoid this 49ers team. You know why, Jamar? Because after really seeing, I've been saying it, and I'll be watching the highlights, y'all. And look, Ian, I'm watching, I was a linebacker in high school. I'm watching the games, bro, and I'm sitting here, Ian, and I'm listening to the pads, bro. And I'm listening when the 49ers play. I'm listening to the pads and the noise. And I'm like, damn, they physical. I said this 5-6 weeks ago. I'm like, damn, they Jamar, they making some noise on that field. It ain't just a pretty football game here. And to hear the noise they was making, I was saying this weeks ago. To see them at this point, I'm definitely worried if I'm Dallas. I ask you this though, Jamar. If Dallas get off to a fast start and the Niners are behind, do you think Dallas win the game, or do you think that the 49ers got to control the game from the jump?
I'll say this: it will be more difficult for the Niners to win if Dallas is, let's just say, first 3 possessions they come out and get at least 17 points off bat, at least 17. That makes it tough. I don't think the 49ers are built for a shootout, but the 49ers have playmakers to where they can, one play, they can impact the game and turn things around. But once again, that's not
Yeah,
their
last
MO.
weekend against the Rams, y'all remember? I mean, the Rams up 17-0.
Yeah.
Like it was going to be a blowout.
It did look that way. And my dark horse team that I mentioned last week was looking like they was not going to make the playoffs whatsoever at that point. But look, I guess it all depends. I feel like the 49ers are going to do their thing. I guess it depends on what Cowboys team is going to show up.
Yeah. The one game I want to point out, and I agree with y'all with the Niners. I want to point out the Cardinals and Rams. It's for similar reasons, Jamal. You was mentioning the division. These are always dangerous games. I don't give a damn how lately the stock for the Cardinals have been dropping because they've been dropping games. This still is a divisional game. 11-6, 12-5. The Cardinals have been a great team for most of the season. Let's say outside of the last 5 weeks. And a few games that they lost have been due to injuries to Kyler Murray. And so he's here. They're playing against a very familiar opponent. And so I don't necessarily know if the Cardinals will pull it out, but I will say that I will not be surprised. All right. Yep, I won't be surprised because they know each other very well.
I give you that. It's just more so if DeAndre Hopkins not playing, I can't give him. I don't see a path of victory for him because their offense have been stagnant without him. It really has.
I've been hearing rumors that J.J. Watt may play. I don't know. Do you guys think he's going to play?
No, that's confirmed. He is. He playing, right?
He's trending towards playing, but it's starting to look like it for
real.
Yeah, and so that could be a difference. That's a good point, Ian. And so just curious, fellas. I love Matthew Stafford. I really do. I think he's a great human being, Ian. But this is the part of the season I've been talking to Jamar, Dominic McKinney, various others about. It's the playoffs now. It's January. I just want to know, Dak Prescott, he's won a playoff game, right? I think he beat the Seahawks, right, y'all, a few years back. He's had a couple, heartbreakers, including Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. But I just want to know, what players under more pressure to lead their franchise to a playoff win this weekend between Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, and I kind of want to mention, let's just go with Matthew Stafford and Dak Prescott. If one of these quarterbacks lose, I don't think it'll be a good look on either one of them. But I think maybe one of them got more pressure. So, Jamar, can you answer that question?
Yeah, it's going to be, I guess the most popular name in the last 5 months on this podcast, Matthew Stafford. It's that guy. He has the most pressure. It's by default because of what they did, how much they gave up to get the man. The expectations were set, and then all the acquisitions they made afterwards. It's on him. You traded Jared Goff. I mean, granted, Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl under your system, so you traded a guy that basically was the final piece to the puzzle for you to actually get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. So you have to win. This is a win now mode. They don't have a future with draft picks. You gotta get it done. And I've been very high on this team all year, but this is what one thing that I give you that you have been saying is playoffs. Wait to January to evaluate this man. So here we are, January. Let's see what you got.
This is the moment where moments are made. And so Matthew Stafford definitely for me is under a lot of pressure. Remember I've been saying this, and you even know this, Sam. You gave up Jared Goff. He's been lionized, unfortunately, up in Detroit. Yeah. But you made the divisional round with Jared Goff, right? You went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago with Jared Goff. That's not that bad. So you bring in Matthew Stafford to obviously go further than that. And I'm just saying, if you lose in a wild card in, or even if you lose in the divisional round, my point is, what was the point? You got a lot of highlights. You got a Pro Bowler, but did you get it done when it counted most? And so just curious, and do you got any other names, or you got Matthew Stafford or Dak Prescott? Which player, which quarterback is under more pressure to lead their franchise to a playoff win this weekend? Everybody, if we got 5 folks that's chopping it up with us this morning, feel free to add in the comment. What player you feel is under more pressure to lead their franchise to a playoff win this weekend? And so we kind of hit no Matthew Stafford right now, but if y'all agree, let us know. So, Ian, what you think, bro?
I would say those two is neck and neck because the Cowboys, they've been on the cusp. Everybody wants them to be good. They're supposed to have this so-called explosive offense. Which they do at times, and at times they can barely score 10 points. So it's always pressure as being a Cowboys quarterback because they're so-called America's team. I don't know who came up with that, but as well as Matthew Stafford, they got that kind of like a Pro Bowl team, and he's supposed to be the final, like you say, supposed to be the final piece. So it's basically for both teams, it's almost kind of Super Bowl or bust. But we all know the train goes to Green Bay and Tampa Bay, so one of them gonna have to, but somebody got to lose. So one of them going to end up losing.
Right. True. Man, that's a good point. Jamar, do you think that Aaron Rodgers is under a lot of pressure?
Yes and no. No, because the only reason why I would say no, because he actually won before, but yes, because of, this whole Last Dance thing, and, the NFC Championship has been his nemesis, for like at least the last decade now. And it seemed like, between him and LaFleur being a choke artist last year, they under pressure too.
Right, maybe not this weekend, right? But you're right, Ian. We're gonna be talking about that next weekend because you got to think about it. Remember, y'all, they only won a Super Bowl over our Bears. They got lucky. I firmly feel, Jamar, that we would have went to the Super Bowl with Jay Cutler if Jay Cutler didn't get hurt. I doubt it, but a part of me as a Bears fan just say that illusionally. So they won a Super Bowl, y'all, off of being a wild card, right? That's the only time they won a Super Bowl. Outside of that, Jamar, they had all these home playoff games, bro. Championship game after championship game. 2 championship games back to back, last year, the season before, divisional, all these other things. And they've choked consistently. He's 1-4 in the NFC Championship.
Yep.
So he has a lot of pressure come next weekend, and if he lose, bro, I'm telling you, it's gonna be like really bad from this Last Dance, from the choke times, always winning in the regular season, beating the Bears, but can't win in a big game. It's just.
For the Packers' benefit, they better hope the Cowboys win this weekend, because otherwise they'd be seen in the Niners.
Right. It's been folks that's been hitting on that for weeks, that if which team can the Packers lose to. And so we ain't gonna focus on that too much, but yeah. All right, fellas. Let's move on. We gotta make our picks, y'all, for awards. Okay, and so we're gonna do our annual award ceremony, and we're gonna have Ian start us off. So Ian, me and Jamar, we are both adamant that the guy that's a little bit north of us will win the MVP. So we just want to know who's your pick for MVP, and then together we'll all just give our OPOY, DPOY, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Comeback, Coach of the Year, all that stuff. And so just curious, bro, start us off. Who do you feel is your MVP for this season?
My MVP, it would have to be between Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady leads the NFL in every statistical category for the quarterbacks, I believe. So, he's still doing it at a certain age. That's still impressive.
44, right?
Yeah, they had a lot of injuries this year. So, but you can't deny A-Rod though. They're number 1 in the NFC. So.
I think that's the biggest difference, right? Is the fact that they're the number 1 seed.
Yeah, but they were number 1 seed last year, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, number
he
one
won
seed
MVP
year.
last year too.
Yeah, so he might be 2-time MVP, but I think they might give it to Brady though this year.
Really, that'd be
Yeah.
very political if it happens.
Yeah,
I mean, it's possible, man. I mean, you should give a guy MVP that's 44, right? Like, who does that, right? Like, I don't know if we'll ever see in somebody. I mean, maybe now with like the new fitness and you got folks really taking care of themselves, it's
yeah.
possible, right? We could see more people playing into their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
But to see what Tom Brady's doing, it's amazing, man. So yeah, definitely between those two, and it'd be great to see Tom Brady possibly in his last season win MVP. That'd be great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so offensive player of the year, Jamar and Jamar, let's start out with you, bro. Who you got for offensive player of the year?
I mean, honestly, it's between two people. I'm gonna continue to show love to number 28 down in Indianapolis, Mr. Jonathan Taylor. I feel like he was the sole reason why the Colts even had a chance to make some noise, make the playoffs and make some noise. But we know that Carson gave up those last two games. But nevertheless, I mean, Jonathan Taylor had a remarkable season here.
Right.
Ever since week 4 against the Dolphins, that man was on a tear. He picked up where Derrick Henry left off. When Derrick Henry got hurt, he became the guy, the guy as far as the rushing leader, the one that defenses feared, the one that you had to game plan against, the one that actually made Carson Wentz more valuable as a player,
Right.
and that defense. So I give it to Jonathan Taylor. I know Cooper Kupp is definitely deserving of the award as well, but I give it to JT.
That's exactly where I was going. So, Ian, I'm gonna go before you, bro, because I was bringing up stats here. My offensive player of the year is going to be Cooper Kupp. 1,947 receiving yards, y'all. Almost at the 2,000 mark. 13.4 yards per catch. Did you guys see how clutch he was last week against the Niners? He arguably won the game by himself, Jamar, against the Niners last week. By himself. The man has been clutch. I think he deserves in consideration for MVP. That's me. I think he deserves consideration for MVP, not to mention his 16 touchdowns. Guy's been clutch all year, even in the absence of Deshaun Jackson moving on, Van Jefferson getting hurt, and we know about Robert Woods and what he brings to the Rams. They kind of had a little bit of depletion in the Rams, receiving corps, but Cooper Kupp stayed consistent all year. He's been a great target for Matthew Stafford. So that'd be my offensive player of the year. What about yourself, Ian? Who you feel like should be offensive player?
I would like to see Cooper Kupp get it, but I mean the receiver position gets kind of overlooked in the NFL as far as awards go. Mm-hmm. So those would be the top two candidates for me, but I would go with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, he was on a tear all year. He was definitely
seriously. How y'all gonna give it to Jonathan Taylor after what happened in Jacksonville? Really?
What happened in Jacksonville has nothing to do with Jonathan Taylor.
No.
We talking about the whole season.
I don't want to hear was Carson Wentz.
Yeah, you picking out one game.
No, please.
It's okay, man. You be all right.
I hear y'all. I hear you. Jonathan Taylor, beast this year, man. Absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, I know his name is mentioned. And I believe I was looking it up yesterday, y'all. I think he is the favorite right now. But it's definitely between him and Cooper Kupp. But I would have to go with Cooper Kupp here because, man has been on a tear all year. He's getting the ball, and he's still been doing what he's been doing. But on the other hand, the Colts running the ball with Jonathan Taylor, and he's been doing what he's been doing too. And so we'll see, man. It's going to be interesting between those two. Defensive player of the year, and start us out, bro. Who you think win defensive player of the year?
Of course, I know it's going to be T.J. Watt.
I agree. I like
but
that.
I would love for Trayvon Diggs to win. Yeah. I just feel like I'm not taking away nothing that T.J. Watt did. An impressive season, tied the sack record. But
sack record, yep.
I feel like it's hard to get 11 interceptions. I think the The record is 14. Nobody's gonna break that, and he might be the closest. We probably been.
You got
to somebody
14. Is it
breaking.
Dion or?
Nah, I think it's like a DB from like 1974 or something. So
Oh, okay.
I don't even think Dion had even over 8 interceptions in the season. So for him to have 11 or I think it's 11 or 12, that's
He had
impressive.
11.
Yeah, that's impressive. I would love to see him get it, but I think TJ Watt it's a lot. He gave us.
I'm with you, man.
I mean, he gave us hell on Monday Night Football, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But
Yeah, man. TJ Watt been on the tear, man. I gotta agree with you. That sack record. He been carrying the Steelers, y'all. And Deshaun, I know you happy to hear this, man. Like, he has been carrying the Steelers all year. The man, I feel like Jamar, he's gotten robbed of a few of Defensive Player of the Years. I think he should have won some other years. That's just me. But finally he's getting that recognition, and I'm happy for him to finally receive that.
I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say he got robbed last year. He should have won last year, and they gave it to Aaron Donald. I mean, this is the year that they're gonna make up
third
for
place
it.
again this year. This is another question. I'm sorry, Jamar, but why do Aaron Donald always get this consideration, y'all? I feel like he ain't do nothing this year. What is he doing that's so quiet, that's so important? Like, what is he doing in the trenches, Ian? Is he making people, throwing people, making them?
I mean,
like he doing something, bro. Like
he plays a big part in that defense, and even without him getting sacks, and I mean, just the things that he does on that defense that he provides. I mean, he could be up for it every year. I mean, it's no debate, but I don't think he should have won it last year either. So
man,
I mean,
it's crazy.
I think he just has that name in that. He just has that name and that star power now.
I mean, he's getting doubled and triple team, and he's still bringing an impact almost every single snap. It's wild.
So could that be why J.J. Watt was winning those Defensive Player of the Years back in the day? Because he won 3. Kind of maybe the same impact type of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
What do you think, Jamar? Is that possibly why J.J. Watt was winning those awards?
Probably because I mean, in his prime, I mean, he was like the real deal.
Oh no, he'll win a game by himself.
Yeah, so I mean, it was justified.
Yeah, man. Aaron Donald, he was third place. He was third place in a lot of people, like behind and Micah Parsons. Shout out to the rookie in Dallas. Yeah, he's literally pushing J.J. Watt. So I already know who we got. At least for me, I already know who my defensive rookie of the year is. Maybe y'all kind of.
That's a lot. I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah. On the other hand, y'all, so Jamar, who did you get for me your defensive player of the year?
Oh yeah, it's TJ Watt.
Okay. So what about offensive rookie of the year?
It's not even a question.
The best name on earth.
The best receiver in the draft, like I told everybody, Jamar Chase, is not even. It's not even close.
And special shout out to Jamar Chase, because remember Jamar, y'all, in the preseason early in the year, they were talking about him dropping passes.
I got so much flack for that. Oh, I got so much flack for that. Look at him, he dropping the ball. He ain't played last year. I'm just like, it's preseason. Calm down. It's just a little rust.
And when he let go of that rust, man, you see what this kid doing. You know who it remind me of, and y'all was a wide receiver at Morgan Park. It remind me of Randy Moss in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Like the way this kid balling out, like that's the only person I can see like that. I mean, this dude, man, this kid.
He's electrifying.
He is. He is, man.
81 catches, 1,455 yards. If I'm not mistaken, 13 touchdowns, 200 receiving yard games, and not to mention 11 catches for 266 and 3 touchdowns in week 17.
This is against good teams.
That was against the Chiefs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Making them look real bad. All right, y'all. 2 more quick ones before we get to our picks. Coach of the year. So I know it's big debate, y'all, between Mike Vrabel and Zach LaFleur. You got people that's going with Zach LaFleur, Jamar, because of the record. But I don't see how you can pick him over Mike Vrabel and what he's dealt with in Tennessee.
I agree.
So yeah.
Vrabel's my guy. I mean, at some point in time, he didn't have Henry, he didn't have Julio, he didn't have AJ Brown. He was stuck with Tannehill, who started to look like the Dolphins version at one point, but somehow, some way, ended up with the number 1 seed, and Derrick Henry and everybody else is going to be healthy. So look out for that. I mean, it's Vrabel by default.
Yep,
Yeah.
agreed.
So
No
Anthony and
arguments there.
Deshaun, my bad, Ian. You can go ahead, but I was just saying, who do y'all have for these awards as well? But go ahead, Ian. My bad, bro.
I mean, yeah. To piggyback off of Jamar, I mean, no arguments here. I think it's Mike Vrabel to have all those key injuries and to still get the number 1 seed in the AFC before the Chiefs, the Patriots, and no arguments. I think it's Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I got a good one for y'all though. Comeback player of the year. So I don't like this guy, at least based off of what he's done in Detroit. But he could be a candidate for a comeback player of the year.
Oh,
Matthew Stafford.
mm,
Do y'all got somebody else over him?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Joe Burrow.
yeah.
No. Oh
Yeah.
no, man. I would give it to Matthew over Joe.
Yeah, I mean they got they got the division title. They probably ain't won the division title in probably about a couple years.
I guess you give it to them for all these reasons. They won a division title.
No, I mean the man.
The Rams did too.
Let me see, 4,600 passing yards, 34 touchdowns. I mean, his average rating was 108. I mean, won the division. Nobody saw that coming. It was in last place last year. Not to mention he coming back from a torn ACL. I mean, it's Joe Burrow.
Yep.
I mean, for me, man, Matthew Stafford almost hitting on 5,000 pass yards, 103 quarterback rating, 41 touchdowns. But I know he got a lot.
Only you would say Matthew Stafford is comeback player of the year because he was in Detroit.
I mean, yeah, man. Like, he was.
That's a backhanded compliment.
He was in Detroit, and like he was winning 3 games, bro. Like
you throwing more shade at Matthew Stafford right now.
To go from 3 wins to 12 wins, like that's a comeback, bro. Like, dude,
I thought you was turning the corner here. I guess not.
Like this is big, like Matthew Stafford, man. But
how much for new year, new leaf, whatever.
So yeah, I can definitely see Joe Burrow. I can see. I just wanted to make a case for Matthew Stafford because I feel like those two will be there. From the impacts both of them guys have had, big impacts both of those guys on their teams.
Let's see. Mr. Deshaun Reed said, TJ Watt defensive MVP. He said Diggs had a tremendous season, but if you look at Watt stats, it's not close. He's at the tone of dominance. He also said Bravo, Joe Burrow. And Anthony Wall says Stafford isn't comeback player of the year. He always had numbers. So
he was in Detroit,
that's
though,
true.
Anthony. He was in Detroit. So goddamn it, coming from Detroit. This is a comeback. Like, this is a big comeback. Like, coming from Detroit to LA. Like, this is a big comeback. Like 3 wins to 12 wins. This is a big comeback. Like, having mediocre numbers in Detroit and going to 5,000. This is a big comeback. I'm just saying, So Matthew Stafford. Comeback player of the year, Matthew Stafford. Yeah. Why y'all so quiet, man? Like, okay. But anyway. All right. So let's get to our NFL Super Wildcard Weekend picks and perspectives. We got some big games going on, y'all, this weekend. Beginning this afternoon with the Raiders at the Bengals. So, Ian, start us off, bro. Who do you got between the Raiders and the Bengals?
This answer is biased, maybe, but I'm going Bengals. going Bengals.
All right, Jamar, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm definitely picking the Bengals. Reason being, because the thing is, what the Raiders do well is not going to work because this is a bad matchup altogether. The Bengals probably going to end up blowing them out. And people that likes to bet and stuff, spreads 5.5 in favor of the Bengals. I'm taking them to cover as well. So
I like the Raiders, y'all. I really do. And you know why, Ian? When you count the Raiders out, that's when they show up. Also, the Raiders is another team that they always present a certain style of a fight. And I feel like nobody right now is counting on the Raiders. But you know what? Then again, the Bengals, it's cold, right? They're coming from Vegas to Cincinnati. We know how cold it is in Cincinnati. I would pick the Raiders, man, if the damn temperature was 30 degrees. But it's looking like it's gonna be cold in Cincinnati. That's a big factor coming from Vegas, where it's hot as hell. I'm gonna go with the Bengals for that reason, but I think the Raiders gonna get them a fight for real, for real. All right, Patriots at the Bills. Jamar, who you got, bro?
I'm going to take the Bills. I think it's going to be a close game. They got the spread 4.5. I think New England covers, but I think Buffalo wins this game, though.
And what about you, bro?
I got the Pats in the upset.
Okay. I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. Bill Belichick back in the playoffs, and he is a mastermind. Yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Bills as well. Lord, this is a hard one. I'm gonna go with the Bills. Lord,
You sure? I don't think you're
I'm
sure.
not sure.
I mean, if you want to pick New England, go ahead and pick New England. It's okay. I get the logic. It's okay.
The logic says the Bills because of how New England's been playing lately and how Buffalo's been playing lately. I'm gonna go with the Bills, but boy, I would not. I mean, who would be surprised if the Patriots beat them?
Not a soul.
Right. So I'm gonna go with the Bills though, just because the Bills are at home. All eyes on that game tonight. The Eagles at the Bucks. So Jamar, do the Eagles go down and pull off an upset?
No, but I think they can make this game interesting.
Okay,
Just
why?
Well, for starters,
I get where you're going. I think the styles.
That, and also Tampa's banged up here. They're not the same Tampa team. I don't think they're a 13-4 team sitting there. They might be a more so 11-6 team. I don't think they're a 13-4 dominant team. But nevertheless, Eagles can run the ball. They're the most run heavy team in the whole NFL. I know Bucks have a run defense, but when you start factoring, quarterback scrambles and broken plays and things of that nature, when things are not by design anymore, and if Jalen Hurts are making good decisions, I mean, it can make things easy. I mean, they only beat them by 6 last time, and it was a close game. Granted, it was in Philly, but I feel like this Philly team is playing a lot better now than what it was then, more healthier against a Bucks team that's not the same for the worse. I mean, the game can get interesting. I got the Bucks winning, but it can get pretty interesting.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game. Would you put a comparison? Is this a crazy comparison? I know it ain't cold, but remember that weekend in Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons went up to Green Bay wild card weekend. You remember what was the guy named Jamar Juby Gabalua, the defensive end, had him on the sideline, and Michael Vick running all around the field in circles. Scrambling. I'm just saying, Jalen Hurts has that ability, y'all. And so this will be a fun game to watch for real. So very interested in that one. And who you got for this one, by the way?
I got Tampa Bay. I could see it being a close game, but then I could just see it being a blowout. I got Tampa Bay though. I think the defense would be too much for them, for the Eagles.
Yeah, they got a very experienced, and they just all they need to do is get turnovers. You're right, Ian, and everything else just kind of take care of itself.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers as well, fellas. The Niners at the Cowboys. This is a dangerous game. So I get it. Jamar, I'm thinking you're going with the Niners.
Yeah, my heart says the Niners. Logic says it's probably gonna be the Cowboys. My heart says the Niners. They have all the tools to get it done. And I'm being a little biased. Yeah, I hope they get it done because I want to see something different next week. But
Right.
no, I
Give me a
think the
sec, y'all.
Niners.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Niners though because they just been playing really well right now, and I don't know what Cowboys team is going to show up against an actual competent opponent that will punch them in the mouth a few times. So that's I'm going with the Niners.
Yeah. 49ers. To be honest, I want the 49ers to win because I'm not a big fan of the Cowboys, but I do think the Cowboys will get it done. They just you don't know what Cowboys team you're gonna get sometimes with them.
Right.
They might come out explosive, defense might come out and they might come out and ball, then they might give up 20, 30 points and can't score 15. So
exactly. Like they can get punched in the mouth like Denver did. Like that was the biggest, head scratch. But like I mentioned earlier, like when the Cowboys are playing their A+ football, I don't think any team in the whole playoffs can like really match that. It's just more so will it happen?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll keep it moving here until he comes back. So Steelers, Chiefs, I guess I'll let you go first. Who you got?
Steelers, Chiefs. Oof. So this is my dilemma with the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense is their Achilles heel to me. Mm-hmm. And it's hard not. I'll go Chiefs in a real close game.
I can see that. So there's no CEH. So Darrell Williams is starting. To my understanding, the Chiefs line is banged up once again during the wrong time of the year.
Yep.
TJ Watt is going to be a problem.
Definitely.
So I think the spread is 12.5, and I think that's pretty disrespectful. So I definitely got the Steelers to cover. I'm gonna go Chiefs, but I feel like if the Steelers can run the ball and control the clock and not turn over the ball, this game can get really, really interesting fast. So yeah, that one's gonna be actually solid. And I guess I know we can't see it, but Monday night game, Rams and Cardinals. Who you got? Yeah,
Rams and Cardinals. I'm a big Kyler Murray fan, but I don't have D-Hop. They didn't get that number one seed. I think they was banking on getting that number one seed to get him back healthy for the divisional, but
yeah,
it didn't work out that way. I'll never want to count out Kyler Murray, but I'll go Rams. I think I'll go Rams in a close one. I think it'll be kind of like a defensive game, being that it's a divisional opponent. So I'll go Rams.
Gotcha. I'm definitely going Rams here. Honestly, I cannot see a path to victory for the Cardinals at all without DeAndre Hopkins. That offense been so stagnant. They become so predictable. It's easier to guard. I just don't see it. So we got the Rams here. Nice for you to join us again. We kept it moving. So, but
yeah,
let us know your pick,
fellas. So who did y'all pick between the Steelers and Chiefs?
So we both chose the Chiefs, right?
Yep.
Okay. And y'all both chose the Cowboys or the Niners?
I chose the boys.
And I chose the Niners.
Okay. So quickly, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys as well, man. I like the Niners, I really do, but I think the Cowboys make a few plays that is the difference in this game. Primarily to hit the Niners secondary. I think they win in a close one. The Steelers and Chiefs, I'm really interested in this game, Jamar. And the reason being is because I feel like in the AFC, I don't know, and I feel like it's wide open in the AFC. I don't feel like there's really no team for me that just sets it off and just say we know that they're gonna win the AFC. Not this year for me. So if I'm the Steelers, Deshaun, I feel like, man. So Deshaun said if Najee can run wild, we got a shot. I agree with you, bro. I feel like Big Ben around this time of the year, I don't think he's scared of nobody. He even said it in the media this week that going in, nobody is counting us to win. Let's just go play football. And you know what? I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I'm gonna go with something real crazy here. I'm gonna go with the Steelers to beat the Chiefs, just to make things dramatic. If I lose this, I lose it. But I think the Steelers will go in and be physical, and play Steeler football because I think it's back. I think some type of little weird momentum's going on with Pittsburgh. Some type of little whirlwind and I hit their little organization. And they kind of know this is his last run, Jamar. They're going to play hard as hell for Big Ben today, tomorrow. They're going to play real hard for him.
I look at it like this. I mean, if the Lions can win last week, why not the Steelers? Why not? And,
wow, really? Thanks for that comparison.
And really quick with this Rams-Cardinals matchup, Dwayne made a good point, which I completely forgot. Eric Weddle, he's back. Like, that was the most random thing ever. I'm assuming he's in football shape for them to even do this. So I don't know how much of a factor he'll play, but just to, I guess, have that as this little extra sprinkle on top, I suppose.
Right. If I'm Kyler Murray, man, I'm attacking Eric Weddle, like for real. But I'm going to go with the Rams. I even said it, Jamar, and I'm not going to rebuttal from what I said last week that I won't want to play the Rams in the playoffs because of how explosive they can be. As you know, the Rams could be down the whole game, and all they need is about 3 explosive plays. 3 plays, boom, can turn a whole game around just like that. This team is incredibly explosive. The Cardinals, I don't know what's going on with them. Maybe they aren't the team we thought they were. And then they without DeAndre Hopkins, one of their biggest playmakers. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Rams in this one. If the Cardinals pull it out, that'd be great. That'd be a surprise. A lot of people would be surprised if they pull that one out. So I'm gonna have to go with the Rams. All right. So we have talked a lot of NFL this morning. Just curious in regards to the comments. Imagine Weddle trying to chase down Murray, laughing my A off, shaking my head, he gonna get smoked. I agree with you, Dwayne. Like, Eric Weddle trying to chase Kyler Murray, that'll be funny. That'll be funny. And Dwayne, he stated, I got the Steelers, Niners, and Rams. And shout out to the NFC West, y'all. Very competitive division. We've been saying that all year, though. But they've been competitive. And Deshaun stated, Deshaun stated they taking LA. Don't trust the Arizona offense without D-Hop. So, yeah, man, here we are. So, fellas, let's talk a little bit of NBA now before we head out. Jamar, man, what the hell going on with the Bulls? Are the Bulls? So I want to ask you, and you watch basketball too. Are the Bulls contenders or pretenders?
Is that a real question?
That's a real question. Are the Bulls? Look, they gave up 138 points to 2 of the best teams in the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets and the Golden State Warriors. They could have scored more points, both of these teams. The Bulls ain't playing no defense, Jamar. None.
So
they give up 138 points. Now, don't get me wrong. Zach LaVine got hurt last night. Okay, I don't think it would have made much of a difference against Golden State. That's just me. And then to see what happened the other night against Brooklyn, that really hurt because, you're supposed to send a message to Brooklyn, especially in the East. But Brooklyn sent the message to the Bulls, a serious message. And so you can disagree, Jamar, and I know you just saying that out of illusion because you're a Bulls fan. And so I'm just curious, Ian, are the Bulls contenders or pretenders? Dwayne said big time contenders. Okay. All right. So what about you, Ian? What you think?
I they've been looking like pretenders in this last couple days, and it's real disheartening and it's heartbreaking. But I think they contenders. I definitely think they contenders. No, Caruso been out. He helps a lot on defense. I think our downfall would be down low with Vooch. I don't think he's that good on defense. I think that's going to be our main downfall in the playoffs. But I mean, we went 2-1 against Brooklyn this year, but they didn't have Kyrie. But he didn't even do nothing the other night. It was everybody else. So then the Warriors, I mean, they just play totally different.
It's just the Warriors, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, they just play totally different without Klay Thompson. So, because I mean, they got blew out last night against Milwaukee. They look like a totally different team, and then they play the Bulls, and they look like the 2016 Warriors. So,
man, y'all all crazy. Every last one of y'all. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my Bulls. But to sit here and say that they real contenders, Jamar, no. Number one, Milwaukee's better than the Bulls. Brooklyn with that big three, we ain't beating them. We got Philly. We are 0-2 against Philly this season. Philly, they on a trend right now. Number 2 seed in the East right now, Miami. We 0-2 against Miami. Golden State, who's the best team in basketball between them and Brooklyn, we're 0-2 against Golden State. So, out of these losses, y'all, it's telling me that we're having a very hard time against really good teams. Which for me, Jamar, that don't make you a contender. That makes you a pretender. And so the Bulls, get me wrong, we've been having a nice season, but I'm kind of glad it's happening early. This could be a blessing in disguise, right? And we can now really see, okay, what we need to do. Number one, Jamar, be interested. Vujovic, he is not a good defender. You are totally right, Ian. He can't defend. We need somebody down low. We probably need another big that can get rebounds and that can have a defensive strong presence because we don't have that. Number two is we have been having, or number three, a lot of injuries. So we really haven't had our full team. And that's the one thing I really want to see. And that's what Jamar's trying to get to me, that we haven't had Patrick Williams. We were out Alex Caruso, missing Zach LaVine, and some other people. We got reserves. Who the hell is Bradley? Who the hell is that small forward, Jamar? Like, this number, Mixon, his last name started with an M. He is terrible. Like, it's been some reserves that's got in these big games, y'all. And I'm just like, who are these guys? And so one thing I'm questioning, Jamar, is who is our player development person? Because we seem to be so top heavy. But like from the natural breeding of talent, you see how Golden State they develop their players. You see last night how they developed their guys. We don't have that thing here in Chicago where like these guys are being developed. And so I wish we could have that. And if we get that, then we will be very, very, very serious for a championship. But until then, we'll be a pretender. It'll kind of put me in a mindset of like Toronto. Remember Toronto back in the day with DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry? Good, but couldn't get over that big hump. Can't get over that big hump. The Atlanta Hawks, get that number one seed. Can't get over that big hump. And so that's where I'm at with the Bulls right now. But hey, it's a blessing in disguise. It's early in the season, and so you got time to make adjustments. Yes, sir.
Oh, you done?
Yeah.
All right, man. People, please forgive my co-host here. I don't know. I don't know. Are we contenders? Absolutely, 100%. We are contenders. Mr. Price, trying to disrespect us. You just take a 2-game sample size, like, oh, we're not contenders anymore. Oh.
It's not just the 2 games, Shamar. You heard me say what I said about the Heat. We're on 2.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. All right, so yeah, first and foremost, yeah, we're banged up. That's just what it is. LaVine going out with the icing on the cake last night. I don't remember the last time I seen Caruso on the floor. Derrick Jones Jr., he get hurt a couple minutes into the Brooklyn game.
Yep.
Who we missing? Of course, Patrick Williams. Is Javonte Green? Is he even playing right now? Like,
No, I think he may be in protocol. I'm not sure, but no, he haven't been playing though.
So at least
I like Javonte Green. He brings a toughness, and he can hoop too.
he plays with a high motor, man. He plays like he doesn't care. I need those type of players on the floor.
Right.
We miss Caruso, who last time I checked was probably leading the league in steals coming off the bench. Like we're missing, defensive prowess. Like, granted, yeah, we get smacked by Brooklyn. Last time I checked, we won the season series 2-1. So I mean, okay, they sent the message then, but we sent 2 messages before then.
DeMar, Brooklyn didn't even have a whole team. Stop it.
Okay, and Kyrie didn't do anything. So like, I don't care about that.
He didn't have to do anything.
Are
y'all gonna literally sit here and say that Kyrie didn't do? Kyrie Irving, seriously?
Kyrie had 9 points in that game. He didn't do squat.
He didn't have to do anything. That's just it.
Okay. Nevertheless, when it comes down to tiebreakers, we got that one. You mentioned Philly. Like, Philly's not even a championship contender, so I don't care about Philly. I don't whatsoever. Miami, like, I'm still trying to figure out who the Heat are. Like, there's good Heat and bad Heat. I don't know.
They don't even know who they are.
Exactly. And then you mentioned the Warriors. We're 0-2 against the Warriors. You just said the Warriors are the best team in the league. Last time I checked, I mean, we wouldn't play the Warriors until the finals at that point. So are we like still a pretender at that point if we make the finals against the Warriors? Are we a pretender then? Can't be, right? By default. And so like I get it. The last 2 losses are bad. I get that. But you got to look at the whole thing. And now the second thing I'm gonna mention here is there's still the trade deadline. And there's the buyout market. The buyout market is about to be our best friend. That's going to be our best friend. We actually going to have players that want to come join us in the buyout market that actually going to be legit. Harrison Barnes, he's going to be a good candidate. I feel like he's going to fit right on in if we get him. Thaddeus Young.
What about the Grant kid from Detroit?
That's a guy that we are continuously linked to in the trade market there. Depending on who we give up, I'm all for it. He just adds a whole another dynamic to the team. And then the last person on the buyout market that actually be a good fit is Chicago's own Robert Covington. I mean, I'm all for any of those guys. I'm just saying, like, it is you saying that we're a pretender, but last time I checked, we number 1 in the East. And I know you mentioned the Hawks in the past, and this is not that. This is not that Hawks team. That Hawks team was just driven on Joe Johnson, Al Horford at times, and then complementary role players that did their thing, and a bunch of people that was just had so volatile that you don't know who's gonna show up.
Mm-hmm.
This year we got 2 assassins in the backcourt, and then complementary pieces that actually play both ways with a high energy. That's well coached. That actually been battle tested. So I mean, we actually have a couple of guys on the team that actually been to the finals. Actually won a championship. Not saying they're star players, but nevertheless, we have a good collection of intangibles here that I feel like that's going to prevent that BS from happening.
All right, man. You made a hell of an argument, Jamar. But I still believe the Bulls are pretenders. It all depends if we can get our full team. This is what I've been waiting to see is in these big moments, man. And I really, really hope, y'all, that in April we are fully healthy.
So my quick question.
Healthy, I agree. The Bulls are a problem if they are fully healthy. But our problem has been health. And so based off of our health right now, we're a pretender because we're not healthy. So I know we're not going to beat these teams with our current roster. And so you're going off of Jamar ifs. I'm just looking at the now, bro. But if we could get somebody else to come in, then I believe the Bulls can win the championship if they can get a Harrison Barnes, if they can get I really want the Grant kid. Coming off the Olympics, long, lengthy, lanky, defensive problem, athletic jump out the gym, it can get you 30. He's an all-star, borderline all-star, Jamar. I hope the Bulls make a big move, man, and I'm really looking forward to this. And we put this out here in the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, y'all. we really are looking forward to this trade deadline with the Bulls because the Bulls, they appear to be that team, Jamar, that's missing one valuable piece, just one. And you put that with the rest of a healthy team, yeah, it'll be some serious stuff going on. And so, yeah, but we got to move on, y'all. I got to ask another question. Because right now we see Ja Morant. He's making noise right now in the Memphis Grizzlies. I know they lost to the Mavericks last night, but prior to that, they had an 11-game winning streak. Just in y'all opinion right now, who is the current front runner for MVP this season? Because we still see what we still see what Steph's doing. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, Ian and Jamar, but I don't know if y'all been seeing what Giannis has been doing in Milwaukee. They will be likely the number one seed in the East very soon. Just give it a little bit of time. And then also to see what's going on with DeMar DeRozan. He's been hooping. Kevin Durant leading the league in scoring. And so who's y'all front runner for MVP this season? So, Ian, who you got, bro? Who you think is the front runner for MVP?
DeMar DeRozan now. So my front runner is it would have to be, I think at first it was Kevin Durant. At first it was Steph Curry, but I think now it'll probably be Kevin Durant. DeMar DeRozan, I would love for DeMar DeRozan to win MVP. So one of my favorite players. I still can't believe he played for the Bulls. He's having like an awesome year. Steph Curry, he's been playing pretty good this year too as well. He kind of been in a slump. Well, they did blow us out last night, but he kind of hit a rough patch ever since he got that record. But it would be between the top three right now today would be Kevin Durant, Steph, and Giannis. With DeMar's like 3A or 3B.
Okay. Gotcha, bro. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. That's a strong opinion. Jamar, who you got, bro? Who you think?
In fact, I'm gonna let you go.
For me, based off of what I've been seeing lately, man, and the story right now, they third in the West. 11-game winning streak. Kid is attacking on the attack mode, man. I gotta go with Ja right now. I think he's a better story right now, and than Steph Curry. Although, Steph Curry definitely could end up getting it. But if Memphis continue on that streak and they continue winning the way they're winning right now, I'm gonna have to go with Ja Morant for my pick. What about you, Jamar?
Dude, this is so tough right now because it's basically a toss-up between like everybody that you all just mentioned. it is. So I'm gonna
They all got good points, right? They all got good arguments, all of them.
Yeah, there's no clear-cut front runner at this exact moment. Maybe about a month ago, we were saying Steph Curry for sure. Then things happen, this, and that. I don't know. I'm literally stumped. I am. Like, I woke up this morning, like, first it was Giannis, and like, nah, it's Kevin Durant. Nah, I can make a case for Ja Morant. Nah, Steph Curry's still up there. DeRozan, he could. Dude, I honestly, I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't. That's why I wanted you to go next, because I'm like, I don't know. I can't even sway any way. I do like the story of Ja Morant. That whole, the fact that he was out for that time and they went on that tear, and then he comes back and they go on another tear, and like, this team has been so disrespected, and now they like putting the league on notice here, third in the West. Like, I didn't see that coming. It's just on paper.
Nobody saw that coming. Nobody.
Like, they're not even that talented compared to other teams on paper, but yet they are playing.
Who is Desmond Bane, Ian? You know Desmond Bane?
Mm-mm.
Right, my point exactly.
Bane, Clark, I don't know anybody.
This other kid with the
Aaron
weird
Jackson
phrase that he throwing the alley hoops.
Dylan Brooks, and I dude, it's an amazing story.
He haven't even been playing like that, Jamar. He's been like in and out a lot. He hasn't been playing a lot on that 11-game winning streak.
That's the story I love the most, if anything. So I love to see it. I love to see underdogs come up. So
yeah, and Memphis definitely like an underdog, environment. Jamar had asked that question earlier this week about some about like John Morant, different things like that. And so it is a very good story right now, y'all. And so we'll see how things go as the season progresses. I respect your answer, Jamar. Right now, if you ain't got no answer, I mean, it makes sense because it seems to be really tight right now. And so with that being said, in regards to who's currently the best team in the NBA right now, we probably can agree Golden State. If you guys got somebody else, whatever, who cares? Let's get to our final thoughts and shout outs. So that being said, Ian, thank you for joining us, my brother. Just curious, man, any final thoughts and shout outs, bro, as we head into the weekend?
No, just appreciate you guys having me on again, man. It's always a pleasure, man, chopping it up with you guys.
Yes, sir. Your presence is always appreciated, my brother. Thank you for chopping it up with us. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Jamar, any final thoughts or shout outs, man, as we head into this weekend?
Shout out to the NFL here. Shout out to the NFL. I'm so thrilled to know that, one of our Bears players didn't make the Pro Bowl, but he shows a all pro this year. I don't understand whatsoever.
The shade.
Whatsoever. I don't get that. Like,
I don't either.
It makes zero sense. Like, how the heck are you all pro, which is like the top tier, but you didn't make the Pro Bowl? Like, make it make sense, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Roquan Smith, by the way. Yeah, man. He has been balling out all year. All year. The Bears, one thing they get right, y'all. They get them linebackers right. They get them linebackers right at Chicago. And we got a long history, a long lineage of great linebackers. And Roquan is just another one that's just been added to the mix, y'all. And so, yeah, everybody just stay safe, man. Omicron is hitting hard out there. It is, I know a lot of people right now that are infected. I know some people that have lost relatives, y'all. We see number of celebrities and different things, athletes that have passed recently. Blessings to Sidney Poitier and his family. Betty White, various celebrities. So be careful out there. It is definitely going around, and it's going around fast. And so just be careful, man. Do your part. Happy birthday to Martin Luther King this weekend. He'll be, happy birthday to him on Monday. And so everybody, have a great weekend. Thank you all for chopping it up with us this weekend. A lot of great games coming on, starting with the wild card today and even on through Monday night. So enjoy sports, enjoy life, enjoy the simple things. And thank you all for tuning in and chopping it up with us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Peace.
Peace.
Deuces.